This clip was taken from this past week's edition of WrestleVision Live, which you can watch in full by clicking the end card annotation or the link in the description.
Next time, starting on Friday, March 8th, we're going to have the 16 Karat Gold tournament of 2019, the biggest tournament, the biggest wrestling tournament in Europe. And a lot of stars are going to be there. And a lot of great wrestling matches are there to be held in Oberhausen. And lots of people are going to be there. So on Friday, the event starts, or on Thursday, much better said. The event starts with Inner Circle in Essen, which is at the WXW Wrestling Academy, their training facility. And they're going to have some stars there, like Ilya Dragunov and Mark Davis from Aussie Open. And Walter is obviously also going to be there, and they showcase kind of like their next generation of wrestling. And then the proper 16 Karat Gold weekend starts on Friday with the podcast marathon, where Matthew from Mania is going to be, and like other podcasts like Robert Weisgas and Shooter Schultz, which is a referee in WXW, which do their podcast Blown Up. And there will be several other podcasts are also going to be there, and they will just do like a podcast rally of sorts. And then the first night of 16 Karat Gold starts actually a little bit later, and it's going to kick off with a warm-up match to find an alternative. If someone in the tournament itself gets injured, we are going to have an alternative there that is going to replace said injured star. So we have Julian Pace in there, who wrestled at last year's alternate four-way. He's a great guy. He's been like 1.5 years. He's been on WXW's main roster now, and he's progressed quite great. He's now leaving the WXW Academy for good, so he can focus on his singles career, and he's now taking international bookings, and he has, in my opinion, great chances to win that. But there's also Veit Müller, who had a great match against Walter a couple of days ago, and he will probably have a great showing inside the match. He might even win it, and there's also rumors that he might join Ringkampf. The other two participants in the match are, let's see, oh my God. The other two participants are Leon van Gerwen. I've never seen this guy wrestle before. Maybe Jan, you have, but I'm pretty unfamiliar to him. And the fourth guy, I have to actually live Google him, because I'm also pretty unfamiliar with him. Let's see. Thankfully, that's the only one I have to Google, because I can tell you something about everyone, but he is like, where do we have him? Let's see. So there he is. So it's Kyle Fletcher from Aussie Open. Oh, okay, it's him. Kyle Fletcher from Aussie Open. So the other half of Aussie Open, he is also going to be in that four-way warm-up match. And one of them will actually be part of the 16 Karat Gold tournament if someone else gets injured or pulled from the show for whatever reason. So moving on to the actual tournament. The 16 Karat Gold event is a 3-day tournament, and on night one we are going to have 8 matches with 16 competitors, and it's singles elimination, so if you lose, you are out. And the first round actually is starting with a bang, because one of the first matches announced is David Starr facing Walter for, I don't know how many times they've been facing before. So
two people I've heard of.
Yeah, David Starr is probably best known for his work in RevPro and PWG and Defiant, and he's also a huge part of WXW as a babyface, and he's in, I believe he's never been a heel in WXW, and he's also never beaten Walter. So in the first round, it's like the WXW released a great promo video package. It's going to be a tough match because Walter says it's going to be an easy victory, and he doesn't know why Star, because Star actually had the option to pick his opponent for 16 Carat, why he picked Walter again. And Star is like really in this must-win situation. He's kind of, there's a curse on David Starr, it seems, because he can't win a big title in every promotion he goes. He is the current British Cruiserweight champion in Rev Pro, but that's not their main title either. And well, he's really must win that match, but it kind of seems that Walter will be winning anyway, because there's a potential great storyline for 16 Carat Gold, a bigger picture, so to say, I will address later. The next match in the first round of 16 Carat is going to be the Avalanche. Robert Greiska, who I mentioned earlier, has that blown up podcast, and Jörn Simmons, who is a big, huge, mean Dutch man. And they have kind of a feud developing in WXW, and so their match will be Falls Count Anywhere, actually. And the next match on the card is Shigehiro Iri, who is from Noah, and who has had quite a rivalry with Bobby Guns in the last few months on WXW. And he's taking on Chris Brooks, famously known from CCK. And that's that match, probably going to be an absolute slower knuckle. And the next match is Ray Horus, who is very unfamiliar to me, facing Ray Phoenix from Impact Wrestling. And talking about people from Impact Wrestling, the next match in the first round is Pentagon Jr., the brother of Ray Phoenix, taking on Mark Davis, the other half of Aussie Open. So the next match, the sixth match on the card, is Lucky Kid versus Timothy Thatcher. Thatcher, probably known by most people, is part of Ring Kampf with Walter and Marcel Bartel, also known as Axel Dieter Jr. And he is one of the favorites to go in, but Lucky Kid is also one of the favorites to win the whole thing. And Lucky Kid is one of the guys that is rumored to be heavily pushed in 2019. And this match is therefore pretty interesting. But for the bigger picture, it would be necessary that Timothy Thatcher would win the 16 Carat Gold tournament, because WWE has, or WWE not, but WXW have released a promo package which kind of teases a break away from Timothy Thatcher from Ring Kampf. And he said he's not going to be the one who gave in. So in other words, he won't sign with WWE or AEW or any big promotion. He will stick with his game, with his mindset. And well, Walter moved on, Marcel Bartel moved on, and Timothy Thatcher will probably not move on, and he will now try to create his own path of destruction. And therefore, he needs to get rid of everyone and win the 16 Carat Gold tournament. So, moving on to the last and final Ring Kampf member in that tournament, Marcel Bartel of NXT and NXT UK fame is returning to WXW to win the tournament he never won, because 16 Carat is going on since 2006 actually, and he's been there for a long time, but he never won 16 Carat. He wants to change it this year and asked WWE, and they said, yes, man, you can go. And WXW said, yes, but you are going to face our WXW Shotgun champion, which is the mid-card title in WXW, Marius Al-Ani. And yeah, that's going to be that match. And last but certainly not least, probably the hardest hitting match of the tournament. Brutal scenes are going to be seen next weekend when Ilya Dragunov, signed by WWE, just recently is taking on Daisuke Sekimoto in probably, a very hard-hitting match. So
we know he was signed by WWE. We did talk about that.
Yes, I know. So that's day one. That's the tournament. That's all the matches we know. And I can take it right now. The WXW tag team titles are are not announced yet, but I can't believe on the biggest show all year that WXW is doing, they will going to be featured somehow. The WXW Tag Team Champions are Rise, Pete Bouncer, and Ivan Kiev, and they are also partners with Lucky Kid. So, and Lucky Kid is a baby face, but maybe they try to help him in their match still. But I believe they will be featured, or the tag team title match will be announced somewhere this week. What is announced for day 2? The world title match is announced for day 2 because the WXW Unified World Wrestling Champion, Absolute Andy, who is a long mainstay in WXW and is one of the legends. I guess you can call him that in German wrestling. Absolute Andy. He will be taking on the King of Smoke style, Bobby Guns, in quite a rivalry they had before, and that will be probably the main event of day 2. And day 2 will also feature 2 different shows. It will be the Ambition Tournament, which is basically a shoot fight tournament during the day 2, and some of these names are in there are actually Timothy Thatcher, but also Yuki Ishikawa and Chris Ridgway is going to be there, and actually White Miller also, and WXW English announcer Rico Bushido is also having a match in that Ambition tournament, and also the same day we have Wrestling Deutschland, which is happening for the second time after making its debut last year. Which is not a tournament, but it's a show for other German promotions to showcase their talents. Like, for example, Next Step Wrestling or Wrestling Code are going to be there with their stars. And moving on to day 3. After the after show party that rounds out day 2, we are going to start day 3 with a fan expo where you can also get signs and pictures with your favorite WXW and international wrestlers. And but you also will have the chance doing breaks and at the start and at the ending of the show to do that. But the fan expo is like longer time.
It's an extra event for
extra event where you can do and get into some. And I've also have great talks with the wrestlers there, and I'm going to be there. So come and say hi if you're actually at the event. And well, after the fan expo, we will get the finals of 16 Carat, obviously, and I believe we are also getting the semi-finals on there. And then there will also be the WXW Women's Championship match, which is Toni Storm versus Killer Kelly, who are both somehow baby faces, but it feels like Toni Storm is actually turning into a heel direction here. And they will be having an NXT UK clash right there. And, well, that's the WXW 16 Karat Gold event. And it's going to be... probably it's already one of the biggest events WXW has ever done.
Connell, please don't die.
with over 3,000 tickets sold over the course of the 3 days or 4 days, and well, it's going to be absolutely epic. And with the exception of Inner Circle and the bowling event, actually on day 1, I'm going to be at every single thing they are going to do. And like I said, Matthew from Botchamania is also going to be there. Lots of German and British and various people from other countries are going to be there. And you have the chance to meet so many guys. And well, that was my monologue to 16 Karat Gold. And that's the reason I'm not going to be on the stream next week because weekends. Because
give people a chance to prepare for your absence. Unlike somebody you may have missed this week, who told us he wouldn't be here about an hour before we started.
And that's 16 Karat Gold, and I'm sure Connell not so much because he doesn't know many guys on that show, but I'm sure Jan has a few words to share with us about the event.
I think Looking especially about the tournament, not so much the other events, but with the tournament, it's an interesting one because in my eyes there are 4 people that this year that could win it, which are Marcel Bartel, Timothy Thatcher, David Starr, and Lucky Kid, which are my 4 main picks, and my main pick to win it is the least favorite of them in eyes of the fans, but I think David Starr is going to win this. Just I don't know why, but I like him. I think it's time for him to win that major thing in WXW, and I think it's the time right now, especially with the Walter story and his story not being able to win big matches. But that's really all I have to say about the event.
Yeah, my prediction, and I really hope that is going to be the finals are going to be Walter versus Thatcher and Walter, and Thatcher on both sides are kindly mowing down the storyline they had, like Walter's beating Chris Brooks, who's been involved in the storyline, and Thatcher's beating Marcel Bartel, and then we will and Walter will also be beating Robert Dreisker because they had a tag team in the past, and they will just take down everyone they faced in the past and had angles with, and then will both emerge as the finalists of that tournament. And Thatcher has never been able to beat Walter, and this time, because he has to win that, he will beat the big ring general and will stand tall at the end of the night. Timothy Thatcher, and the crowd will go just crazy, and that's my prediction. Because he's the guy who has not given in.
True.
I would assume they'd give it to one of their own guys and not NXT UK guy.
Yep.
For what it's worth.
Fair.